All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, nerds and neckbeards.
Nerds and neckbeards.
Welcome to another episode of Westworld.
Westworld.
Wheneverly.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Tana.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been some time.
But it's the internet, so maybe people are listening to our podcast one after the other, and they don't know.
They don't know how long it's been.
That years have passed, even.
Eons.
We've dusted off
Light
the vault.
years have passed.
Yeah, we blew the dust off our VHS tapes.
That's right.
Of season 2, episode 8.
We put our Betamax in.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Betamax is?
I don't. And I know. And
You're
I'm
older than me.
I know. And I'm at that stage where I'm like, I don't think I can ask. Because, is it like a VHS? I don't know what it is.
It is, kind of. it lost to cassette, basically.
Betamax was you know what? Beyond our scope.
Yeah. Not for discussion.
What are we drinking today, Dave?
We are drinking a mixed bag of things.
We are.
That's right.
We're going a little off the normal path, I think.
Yeah, well, after a little while, you just got to rummage through your fridge and be like, what the fuck do I have?
And I thought so we're doing season 2, episode 8 of Westworld.
That's right.
Which is called Kiksuya, and it's all about one thing. So I thought the other way to do the drink for tonight was just to do one thing. But because this one thing, thematically, in the episode, is secretly many things,
yes.
My one thing is beer, and I brought a few different kinds. So right now I think I'm drinking what is this? It's a Blue Moon Pacific Wheat.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's
fancy.
it's their summer beer or maybe their spring beer. It's some seasonal thing.
Okay.
And it's freaking delicious.
Well,
but it's the last one I have, so I've been saving it for a special occasion, which is right now. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, man. Nope.
This drink
looks like nothing to me.
And I'm drinking, since I'm still doing my keto diet.
Yeah, nice.
I am drinking now this truly sparkling water,
what flavor?
hard water.
Hard water.
It's hard
like what you have in your
water.
pipes. That was unintentionally a double entendre.
Ooh. I think it's raspberry lime.
Okay, nice.
It's not bad. It's decent.
It tastes like nothing, really. It's flavor.
It's flavor.
A little.
It's a little hard.
In the pipes.
That's right.
Stump Dave, question 1.
Oh, God.
Jumping right in here.
Man.
Stump Dave, what does Kiksuya mean?
Yeah, door?
No, although you could Kiksu a door, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's Lakota, and it means remember.
Remember.
That's
a good...
You totally remember this episode, right?
Oh, well. So I have some good news, and I have some bad news.
Give me the good news first.
So the good news is I just rewatched this episode.
As we needed to, because eons have passed.
That's right.
So, pause.
Pause.
It has been several weeks, and we are podcasting episode 8 right now.
Yep.
There are 10 in the season,
That's right.
we breaking formality. What we've done for this whole season is watch them one at a time, not knowing what's going to happen next.
Right.
But now we're going to podcast on episode 8, knowing what happened in the season finale.
Yeah, so basically what had happened was we got tired of waiting for each other to become available to podcast, and so both of us said, fuck it, we're going to watch the rest of the season.
I can't avoid spoilers any longer. I need to see the damn show.
I must go on the internet, and therefore I must watch this.
Oh my God, I can't exist off of the internet. So that's what happened. Our schedules finally aligned. Summer's just a busy time.
It is. It really is.
I mean, we're just going.
There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah. So, good news is...
The good news is I just rewatched this episode.
As did I. What's the bad news?
The bad news is I fell asleep.
Prepare yourselves for incisive analysis.
This will be... I'm gonna do a lot of memory.
That's
right?
A lot of Kiksuya.
That's right. A lot of Kiksuya. All right.
Yeah.
And so this episode will mostly be Tana telling us what happened in the episode and me going, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's the thing that happened.
Yes, blood on his face. Yes, with his hands. Yes.
Stump Dave, question 2.
Okay, question 2.
Our main character, so speaking of breaking formality.
Yes.
For the first time, I think, in both seasons, the show is focusing on just one character the whole time, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I can't think of another episode where they don't at least hop between one or two kind of timelines and storylines.
The only one that I could think of was Dolores in the very first episode, or maybe early in the first season, where it like focused on her. But
but we always got a little William, or we always got a little Ford or something.
Yeah,
there was always
stitched in something
else.
Always
just a little taste of something else.
But we've got, but we stay on our main character. So Stump Dave, question number 2.
Okay.
What is the name?
Aki. Nice try. Let's go. Boom. Can't stop me. Can't stop me.
What's his full name? That is correct, but that's a nickname. What's his full name?
Aki, take my heart in your place.
Akicheta. Akecheta.
I got it.
Akichita?
Come on.
Akicheta?
I didn't fall asleep right at the beginning. All right. It's good.
All right. Well, so you didn't get it.
Damn it.
Well, half point.
Half point.
And final question.
What is her name?
No. Yeah. Okay. What's her name?
Kona.
All right. That's correct. Ding.
Yeah.
1 bonus point.
That's right.
Put it up on the board. There it is. Up on the board.
It's up there.
Fourth question of Stump Dave and final question.
Okay.
What does Akicheta mean?
In Lakota?
Yeah.
Oh, I know this. I have no idea.
If you watched the behind the scenes episode, post.
Well, I fell asleep, so that clearly didn't happen.
The actor talks about the name meaning warrior or strong soldier.
Oh, okay, strong
cool,
soldier.
Right? Mm-hmm.
He's actually Lakotese,
Lakota.
He's a Lakota.
He's Lakota, yeah. Facts. Let's do a little trivia. Let's open with a little trivia.
Okay, I like trivia.
How many Indigenous actors have ever been nominated for an Academy Award, David?
0.
Oh! Actually, it's higher than that, but not by much.
1.
2, actually.
2.
Ding, ding, 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
Not a lot at all. A guy named Graham Greene won, actually, Best Supporting Actor for the movie Dances with Wolves.
Okay.
And he's from the Oneida tribe. Or I guess the Oneida people. I say the Oneida is what you say.
Is Dwayne The Rock Johnson considered Indigenous because he's Hawaiian or whatever they...
Polynesian, maybe? I don't know what he is. I don't know where he hails from.
Yeah.
In his background. But yes, and I believe that's why
Is he the second? Is
no,
he number
that's
2?
why being on Moana was so important to him in interviews. He
Gotcha.
has said as much. No, the second one, but that's a good guess. Do you have any other guesses?
Was this guy in this episode?
No, but he should be, right?
Yeah, it was a good episode.
No, the second guy is
what I remember of it.
Chief Dan George, if I can read my own handwriting. And he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in Little Big Man, but didn't win.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How are these things that you look up? Because when I watch a show, I watch the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever think of I wonder how many Indigenous people have been nominated for an actor.
Well, I think it's important. I think representation is important. It's my whole deal.
I get it, right? I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's not I'm not just sitting there going man, that dead Indian dude is a really good actor. I wonder how many other really good Indian actors there are, or Native Americans, or whatever the appropriate politically 2018 correct term is.
I think it's Indigenous people. I think, I don't know, maybe not. I'm certainly not the authority here. Okay. But I have a vested interest in this. I make comics for a living, as you know. And one of my my indie titles, everyone go read Marvel's Silk. One of my indie titles that I made, my passion project, is about the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
And there was a Narragansett man named Deerfoot, that was his tribal name, but his real name is Ellison Brown, who won the Boston Marathon twice. And is this phenomenal athlete who has this amazing life that no one knows about. You've heard of Heartbreak Hill, probably. No. If anyone knows running or the Boston Marathon, you know
Do
about...
I look like I know running, Tana?
Fair.
How long have you known me?
Fair.
Do I know running?
Yeah, fair. But so I've been fascinated with Ellison's life, with Ellison Brown's life.
Okay.
His nickname is Tarzan, which I find super racist. And like, he's not around to say whether or not he like approved of that very problematic nickname. But like, his name's Ellison, so we're going to call him Ellison. But he won the Boston Marathon 2 times, and he set the world record for marathoning. And I'm just going to throw some... So this is why I started thinking about this. Are you saying
he's faster than Usain Bolt?
He's so fucking fast. So Usain Bolt can only run for like 5 seconds, and then he's done. He could never run a marathon. I mean, he could, because he's great, but like, he's not competitive for more than 5 seconds, right? Gotcha. Like, he's just... He's a fast sprinter.
Sprinter. Got it.
But like, so in 1936 and in 1939... Ellison Brown of the Narragansett tribe in Massachusetts, where I'm from, or in Rhode Island, in that area, right?
Okay.
Set the world record for the world's fastest marathon, but he won the Boston Marathon first in 2 hours and 33 minutes and 40 seconds. And then in 1939, he ran it even faster at 2 hours and 28 minutes and 51 seconds. That is a 5 minute and 40-second mile pace.
That's fast,
right?
In
1939, that's so fast. There were no racing shoes. Like, you don't have gear. There's no wicking fabric, right? Like, he ran 5:40s. He ran so fast that they didn't even know he was in the lead in the Boston Marathon.
Really?
Yes. There's a guy that won 10 times or something. His name is John Adelbert Kelly. He ran the Boston Marathon 62 times. That's not an exaggeration. 62 times he ran it. He won it a bunch of times. Won it twice, came in second 7 times, something like that. But they think the press truck, which is a literal truck, right, in 1939, is following John Adelbert Kelly, thinking that he's in first place. But Tarzan Ellison Brown had already, like, outdistanced him. And John Kelly catches him on the Newton Hills. And so then the press is like, oh, we already had, I guess he was in second. You know, Ellison Brown is in first. And so they start like waging this war up the hills. There's 4 Newton Hills. And so he runs up one, and then John Kelly beats him on the down or something like that. Like, I can't remember exactly. But on Heartbreak Hill, which then wasn't called Heartbreak Hill, Ellison Brown beats John Adelbert Kelly. So John like pats him on the shoulder. This is a sort of like, I don't know, apocryphal story about it. Yeah. And is like, don't worry, I've got you now. Like, you can go to second place. And it pisses Ellison Brown off. And so he just kicks it into high gear and breaks John Kelly's heart. That's how Jerry Nason, the writer for the Boston Globe, puts it in the paper the next day. It broke his heart on this hill. And like, the hill happens in the second half of the race, right when all of your glycogen stores are depleted and you're the most exhausted that you're going to be. Now you have to run uphill for a mile.
Gin stores?
Glycogen?
Drinking?
Oh, gin. Bringing it back. Bring me back,
Are they
Dave.
Drinking on this race?
So anyway,
that sounds like my kind of race.
Indigenous people. I think it's very cool that we had an entire episode where they spoke Lakota, where it was helmed by this incredible dimensional actor who carried the whole episode. I mean, just the gamut. He's supposed to be a feelingless robot, and he just does it for me. He goes Cold Stone Warrior. He goes like warm and loving husband. He was amazing. Anyway, Let's begin at the beginning.
I was going to say, you're only on page 1 of your notes.
Question, was there anything before the credits, or did we go right to the credits?
Ooh. We went straight to the credits.
We did go straight to the credits.
Yes, we did.
You were awake for that part.
I was remembering. I was pulling back. I was Kiksuya. I was Kiksuya.
That's right. You were. I didn't know you spoke Lakota.
I don't.
What do we see? What's the first thing we see?
The first thing we see is him waking up next to his wife, right? No. That's the first thing I remember.
Sleeping
no.
You'll get there.
It's the Man in Black.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Dead, practically.
He's dead. He's like...
Been shot up a bunch by Lawrence.
Yeah, that's right.
Because remember, last episode was 7, and that's when Lawrence remembers all the shit.
That's right, and he goes, fuck you, bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
And like really lays into the Man in Black.
So he's laying on his ground, and all of a sudden, Mr. Ghost Nation Tribe guy rolls right up.
Yeah.
And picks him up, kicks him.
Yeah.
And it goes alive. Good.
That's right. And he's like,
glad you're not dead yet.
And then this fucker is like, I never learned whatever tongue Ford saw fit to give you. He's such a fucking dick.
He's a dick.
Okay, question.
Yes.
One thing I want us to be talking about this episode. Knowing where the season ends up and the hell that Man in Black is trapped in.
Yes.
Are we to believe that the loop is repeating this
These are
action?
spoilers.
Oh yeah, super spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers.
How are we gonna... I guess I just took us there. Yeah. So...
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I mean, well, I feel like we're spoilers to everything all the time.
Yeah, we really are, for the most part.
Go and pause the podcast and go and watch
Don't
all 3
listen
episodes.
anymore. You know what? This is like the only podcast that you'll hear someone be like, stop! Don't listen anymore. We don't want you here. It's not that we don't want you here.
If you came for Boston Marathon insider knowledge,
that's
this
right.
is the
There you
place for you. Oh my God. So he says, I never learned what tongue Ford saw fit to give you. And then our hero kneels down and says, I remember you. And like
In
drags
English.
him off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then drags him off. Yep.
And sort of captures him. Now, okay, maybe we'll save all the spoilery stuff for the end.
Let's try.
How do you want to play it?
Let's try. Let's take us through the episode first.
Okay. All right. So we're in the
And we'll
Ghost
come
Nation
back.
headquarters with Maeve Jr. and Ghost Nation guy.
That's right.
And almost dead Men in Black.
Yeah, and Ghost Nation guy kind of walks over to Maeve Jr., little Maeve.
Lil Maeve.
Lil Maeve.
I like it.
Lil Maeve is like deathly afraid, but not of him, right?
But we think at this point that she is afraid of him, right?
Yeah, but then he like kind of sits next to her, and and she's still staring at Man in Black.
Yeah.
And this is where he starts to tell the story, right? He's like, you remember him. You remember all the shit he's done. You remember all the lives we've lived.
Yeah.
And then he goes into this long ass fucking narrative.
The entire episode.
About the entire episode.
Which is a sort of a rolling flashback of the many secret lives
that he lived. And one of the amazing things is that I think he's one of the only hosts to not have died for such a long time.
I mean, that scene where, he's down in behavior. We can cover it when we get to it, but like that he's been up there for almost a decade without dying is one of the most memorable lines of dialogue.
He's running Alpha 2?
Yeah. And they're like, well, we have to send this up the chain. And they're like, I already did. And then the boss lady, none of these people are familiar to us. That's how long ago this was, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they chose unfamiliar faces and a mostly empty behavior, like underground scene, right? Like, it's not the cluttered, busy, thriving Westworld that, we have in the modern moment. This is a long time ago. And
absolutely. Yeah. This is still, early park days.
Yeah. Yeah. Within the first decade of the park opening, pretty much. I mean, I don't know the timeline, but like it is very early in it. And this woman, the boss, is like, what do you mean Alpha 2? They're running Alpha 2? No. Do the update and then kick him back up there and tell no one. Keep it a secret that this guy hasn't been in here. And they're like, what? Yeah, just do it. Run the 4-hour update.
Run the 4-hour update and leave them.
And I love this. One of the threads underneath all of the episode was like human beings not doing their jobs, or like being human beings, like kind of being lazy, or like not wanting to rock the cart or whatever.
Yeah, I'll just do the update and go away.
Do we have to recode all of the what is it, voice trees, speech trees, or
all
something?
the trees and everything? Oh no, just cut out some bits and add some new shit.
Just crank up his aggression and stick him back in there. And so they keep through human nature, he is able to retain his core memories and his original programming about his wife and all of that stuff. But so we're still in the first scene here. Maeve's daughter makes lingering, intense eye contact, and they start talking about that flashback, or he starts telling her the story. During this long story, at certain moments, Dave, we go back and sort of check in on Maeve.
Yeah.
And it comes together at the very end that she has been looking out of her daughter's eyes this whole time.
Yep.
Almost like there's that, not split personality, but like, he starts talking to her.
She's connected to the mesh network, right? This is where we first really realize that she can reach anyone, anywhere. And in her dying moments, she was looking out for her daughter.
But Maeve was in that firefight as well. With Man in Black and Lawrence and everyone, and got pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
and
but
so
Brit
like we
Pop
think
saves
she's.
her.
I know.
Britpop saves her.
He has a real moment in this episode.
He
He actually turns the corner in this episode.
He brings her into the fucking the chop shop, I'll call it.
Yep.
And the guy's like, bring her fucking corpse outside. We don't need any more in here. I got 50 fucking bodies in here to dissurge. And he's like, you fucking idiot. This one can talk to everyone in the park.
She can control other hosts with her fucking mind. And then the butcher is like, okay.
Really? All right, fine. Put her on the fucking table. Let's go.
And he's like, lock this place down. You know, in that scene, right when Britpop kind of loses it and is like, pay fucking attention to me. The way that they transition, so the butcher agrees to like hook her up, and Britpop thinks that he's going to save her. We see this emotion on Donkey Boy's face. He's still dressed like the Donkey Boy, which I think is the most adorable thing. And it pans down from his very concerned face to his shirt smeared with Maeve's blood, and then focuses on Maeve's bloody, dying face. And it's just a beautiful moment. And I'm reminded in this episode, sort of again and again, of what they do right. Mm-hmm. I feel like Westworld got back to what they do so well in this episode. And this is one of those moments, visually. And it's such a small thing, and if you're looking at your phone or whatever, you miss it, but it's so good. And so, so Britpop drops off Maeve. We cut from there to Maeve's daughter and Akechita. We'll call him Ake. Aki.
Like Aki Tuna.
Ahi Tuna says, are you afraid of me?
We are terrible people. The 2018 police are going to come get us. At least they're coming to get me.
Ahi says, are you afraid of me? And what are we calling the girl? Maeve?
Lil Maeve.
Lil Maeve.
Lil
Maeve just stares at Lum. Stares at Man in Black. And he says, he can't hurt you. You can remember all the things you've seen, can't you? All the lives we've lived. I can too. And this is when he begins that flashback where he meets his wife, or he has his wife. He has this whole beautiful, he has a community. They have this stuff that they do.
Yeah.
The whole business. What changes it? Do you remember? Were you asleep at this point?
I didn't fall asleep yet. Let's see. He wakes up, he goes, and he's like going on a hunting trip or something, and he's walking, and all of a sudden he sees Sweetwater, what we think is Sweetwater.
He's in the church graveyard.
And he sees everyone dead, and the music's playing. This is the massacre that Dolores and Teddy executed, and Arnold's dead, and he finds the maze.
He rolls up on the end of the massacre. And again, brilliantly... So
tying everything together.
There's a white horse running through the church lich yard, right? And he's recognizing this moment in his life of and then something happened to change it. Right. I went where I wasn't supposed to go. So he walks through all the carnage. He gets to the bar, right? They beautifully frame this shot through the doorway of the bar. You see, Arnold is dead, Dolores is dead. He's walking towards us. And, where the maze is. And he gets in there, he picks up the maze, and he's looking at it. Question.
Yeah.
There is a fly in this scene.
Ooh, is there?
There is. So Ahi Tuna picks up the maze.
Yeah.
And the shot is of his two hands holding the circular maze. So you see his hands, his thumbs, his wrists, whatever. And there is a fly hopping to and fro on his bottom thumb. Question, Dave.
Yes.
Did they do this on purpose? Is this a happy accident?
No, this happens on purpose.
I mean...
Westworld does not do anything unintentionally.
It was so good. I saw the fly and I was like, oh my God, this is great symbolism. The fly that they can't kill, that we start with Dolores in the very first episode. It's and it's a metaphor for the bug in the code, David. Come on.
It's the bug in the code.
I'm like, do they smear honey on his thumb or something to get how you can't train a fly?
I mean, how do you know? Haven't you ever seen the flea circus?
Wasn't that just electricity? That was just a secret electricity trick. Like when electricity wasn't popular, they had these miniature amusements that would run on electricity, and you would say, just look closely and you can see the fleas. And the fleas are operating it. But really it was just like small electrical circuits that were moving.
It was a magic trick?
Yes, I think. Am I wrong about that? I feel
you just blew my line.
I feel like I've taken us on too many tangents tonight. Oh man, this drink looks like nothing.
This drink looks like nothing.
Queen of the tangents.
I mean, you do have Tan in your name.
Yep, Queen of the Tangents. I like it. So you think it's intentional? Your vote is yes for intentional.
I mean, let's be honest. It's a CGI fly.
Is it? I mean, I don't think so. It looks real. I don't know. And then it's also like all the death outside.
They don't do a lot of CGI in Westworld, so they got enough money. They got that HBO Game of Thrones money to put them dragon. All right, they got all those people on them dragons.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
You're right. I guess they could CGI a fly.
They can CGI a fly. All right.
Fair. So we cut from there to being back at Ghost Nation camp. But this is in the flashback.
You think in that first episode with the woodcutter or with Abernathy where the fly lands on him and he keeps going, you think they like smeared some honey there and they were like, dude, just sit there and look like you're freaking out for like as long as it takes until we get a fly, some random fly to come on your face. We
also needed to land directly on your open eyeball.
Right, so, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to take a little, I don't know what kind of method acting you do for that. He starts carving mazes everywhere. So he sees the maze. He has the fly in his hand. He starts carving it
everywhere. And all the fucking Lakotis, Yankees, Lakota. I don't know. I'm gonna keep fucking that up. His family, his tribe, thinks he's going crazy. They're like, he's carving this everywhere. He's carving it when we're going hunting. He's carving it, when we're having sex at night. He's carving it in
animal skins,
rocks. Yeah,
everywhere.
Everything.
Yeah, he's going nuts. He's losing it. His one bro is super pissed about it. And then we cut to the chop shop. Were you asleep yet at this point?
I was asleep, I think, at this point. This is, I think, is the point where I fell asleep.
Flies do it to you every time. So he's sitting next to his bro, the bro that was like, he's losing his fucking mind. We need to do something about this. But now they get paused because the park is about to open. This is the very beginning of the park. So the massacre of Arnold has just happened.
Yeah.
And Ford saves it from destruction. They're going to officially open the park, but to do that, to really like gear up the problematic cowboys and Indians shit, they need to make the Indians less human. They need to up that aggression.
I remember this, yeah.
Make
so
them
he's
crazy.
In the chop shop, and this is where we first learned them going, he wants us to rewrite his whole narrative?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And the other lady's like, nah, come on, dude. Let's just up his aggression and, throw a couple new lines on top.
He's the strong, silent type.
Yeah. Doesn't have to talk.
I love that the workers' laziness or like annoyance about their job is what sort of is part of the catalyst to unlocking the robot rebellion, because that's so on point.
Yep.
Now we go to the first battle.
That one dude is looking back like, the robots are doing what? The robots are doing what?
But he's 80 now, so he's like retired, and he's watching it on TV, and he's like, I'm having a memory of back when I wonder if this has anything to do with my time.
Wonder if this has anything to do with that time where I didn't delete that code and rewrite, copy and pasted it.
This is copy pasta.
Copy pasta.
Copy pasta. I know that term. I do.
It's an internet term.
It's like one of the
It's a meme internet term.
Yeah. I just learned TIL. What that means.
Today I learned.
You didn't know
You didn't know TIL?
Do
you not Reddit? Are you not a Redditor?
So I started Redditing in earnest very recently. Okay. I downloaded the app, and so now it's part of my...
Which app do you use? Do you use the Relay app, the official app, or do you use Relay, or do you use
it has
Bacon Reader? Or?
No, it just has the app of the little Reddit guy, and I touch it, and then it shows me all the funny stuff on Reddit for the day.
You should check out the app Relay. That's the app I use for Reddit. It's a little bit better.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier to read.
All right. I'm into that.
I'm a very avid Redditor.
I'm a noob, but you spell that with 2 zeros in the middle.
Okay, not EW, because there's also the EW noob.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
What is the EW version? I might be that kind. Keep eating your avocado toast. Okay. We go to the first battle, where our friend who now has the upped aggression is slaughtering people for the first time. And there's a couple of notable things. There's actually just one notable thing in this scene of slaughter. He is slicing the neck of one of the...
woodcutter. That's the woodcutter.
Yeah, he's killing him. And then he has this moment, blood on his hands. And there's like an existential, like, who am I moment. And he takes his bloody hands. And what does he do with them, Dave?
He wipes them on his face. I saw this.
Yeah.
And I remember this. This is the first time he gets the blood on his face.
He puts his hands to the side of it. Like, it's what's Home Alone. He Home Alones it. Ah! Except with red, blood on his own, like, war paint face, and stains himself. And from that moment on, he now has the red war paint every time he goes into battle. I think it's actually paint at that point, not blood. Look for it, intrepid watchers, when you're watching through. But this is the moment where he kills that one robot, and he's like, and he has that who am I situation.
Do you think from a park standpoint, the park was like, yeah, we're gonna put his red. That looks good.
Yeah.
He did a good job. Yeah.
So but if that's true, amazing. He has now been the author of his own identity.
That's right.
How he presents.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy, right?
Whoever's in charge, I feel like the park just wasn't paying attention to this guy. I feel like he slipped through all of the cracks.
Clearly, considering, what we learn later on in the episode where the guy hasn't died in over a decade, and he's still running Alpha 2, and not whatever
9
they said.
years without dying, and he also is like walking through we'll get to it, but like through all of these dangerous situations on his mission to find his ex-girlfriend, and like you're in Sweetwater, and he's being eyed by people that could shoot him dead in a second, right? Like he is in the Viper Pit for years without getting killed, it seems. So, but before that, so this is his first battle, we think, and he puts his hands, he Home Alones his look.
That's right.
For the red marks, which I think was interesting. And then he goes and he finds Logan. This is the moment, Dave. This is my moment. I've been waiting for Logan to come back all season.
I'm so happy for you, Tana.
I was like, finally, here's my dude.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to get this scene, but we do.
And what's awesome about it is, it slowly, they don't just reveal Logan, right?
Yeah.
They slowly reveal, wandering in the desert, some crazy dude. When I saw this originally,
dead horse.
When I saw this originally, the first thing I said was, "Oh, it's Logan."
Yeah. When did you know?
I saw the dead horse.
Yep.
That was it. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be Logan."
Yep.
It's gotta be.
And then there's the tree.
This is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Logan, William sent Logan on the horse, buck ass naked,
and this is the moment. So to make it all connect, this is when Dolores is having her awakening, right?
That's right.
This is the moment where William is sort of falling in love, realizing something about himself, whatever. That whole first season narrative is happening concurrent with this moment with Akacheta?
Ahituna.
With Ahituna, who is now finding Logan at the end of their mania.
Yeah.
So his awakening is happening at the same time, concurrently with Dolores's, except unlike her, he doesn't get reset. He spends the next decade as she is going through the same motions over and over and being, erased and dropped back in and updated and everything. He is staying at that same programming level, but he's disseminating the maze everywhere.
Yeah.
He's putting it everywhere that he can.
Yep. He's the reason that the daughter gets it, right?
Yep. Just hold it in your minds. That's the timeline. And so he finds Logan, a raving, sunburnt lunatic. Question.
But he says a couple things.
Yeah.
That really kind of trigger Ahituna, right?
Yep,
he says, this is the wrong world. Mm-hmm. That's one of them. Mm-hmm. And he said, there's a door. There's got to be a door. Where's the door?
Yes. I had two questions for you in this scene. Right after my comment about how happy I am to see Logan. Ahituna says, I always sense the presence of others. Lives I was forbidden from taking.
Yeah.
The newcomers. And then, and he's saying this as, the old version, the flashback version of him is approaching Logan, and we realize he's seeing Logan. Logan is mumbling something. Do you know what Logan mumbles first?
No.
It stuck out to me because I've seen the whole season, right? So, spoilers.
You subtitled it?
No, I would just listened with my ears.
Oh, wow.
And you can, too. You can do this, too. You can repeat my magic trick if you, if you want to. But knowing where the episodes go, knowing where the other 2 episodes end.
Yeah.
Logan's first thing that he says in his delirium, it's not just gibberish. He says, otherwise, you and me, we're drowning. Drowning.
Interesting.
What? Why would they choose that? Is this, am I finding meaning in nothing? The first thing he says is, otherwise, you and me, drowning. This, and then he sees Ahituna and says, this is an illusion. There's got to be a way out of here. Where's the door? This world is wrong. And then, he says, your kind will come to get you.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Dave? That's my second question. So, 1, did you hear that comment about drowning? Logan's mom drowns.
I didn't hear about the drowning.
And so,
Logan's mom, Logan's mom drowned.
She suicide drowns.
And then all those people.
And then the people drown. Drowning is a theme here.
That's right.
And so it's not just for nothing that Logan is mumbling, in crazy form about drowning. They could have had him say gibberish, anything. But they chose otherwise, and then it's unintelligible. You and me, drowning. He's prophetic, perhaps. I'm reading too much into it. I realize that.
I don't think so. Like I said, Westworld, Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy.
They're paying attention to the language, right?
Yeah. They don't do shit for no reason.
That's why. Right? So this episode, I think, was a departure in some ways.
Yes.
But it also, gets to the core of what works about Westworld.
Speaking of which, were you on or off the train for this episode? Were you?
I was on the train for this episode because I like.
So episode 4, Samurai World, you were like, "Fuck this shit."
No, that was not for me.
Fuck this. I'm out. I'm not watching it ever again. Fuck this shit. But then episode 4, I think it was brought you back.
It's been a roller coaster.
Every time I think I'm
that's
out,
what it is.
They bring me back in.
So for me, for the sort of I don't know. Philosophical, emotional watcher, this episode brought me right back in.
Okay.
I was into this episode because I think it surprised me.
Yeah.
It broke format, right? I like it when the show does surprising things. I liked it when we had Jim Delos doing the whole 60s workout bicycle, thing. Yeah.
Like Lost.
Yes, that
By
sort
the way,
of thing.
Creators of Lost.
So but when they steal from other shows and do it well, or just sort of break their own formula in some ways while remaining true to the core of the show, I'm there for that.
Yeah.
I am going to sign up every time. The gratuitous violence or I can't give a shit about a character that you just introduced to me 5 seconds ago. I don't care about Ahituna's. I don't care about his wife or his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I care that he cares.
Right.
I'm invested in him. So when he shows me, when he finds her in cold storage, and that is so beautifully acted. She is stone cold. And he is seeing the love of his life in this completely unfamiliar environment and just being overwrought with emotion. Just sort of and you follow him on that silent emotional journey.
Yeah.
I care about that scene because I care about him. I've just met her, but I care about him as a character.
Yeah.
For the Akane no Mai stuff, I didn't know any of them. I don't care about any of them. And it was samurai stuff, which isn't really for me. So in the Wolverine saga, when he does his whole samurai ninja training, also not for me. It's just not a thing I care about really.
Right.
And so I'm not your audience.
Bring
but
me back to shink shink.
Yeah. Give me exactly. It's snicked.
I'm sorry. Sorry, that's trademarked. Snicked. It's not shink.
It's not.
All right. Apparently, okay. No, Kenny, it's not pew pew. It's bang bang.
Oh, man. Nope.
This drink.
Looks like nothing. Queen of the tangents tonight.
You know, actually, it's funny. I was talking about our podcast. I went shooting this morning, and I was talking to the podcast.
Shooting what?
Sporting clays.
Oh, right. Okay, all right. Well, we're in Florida, so you never know.
I went shooting Democrats. I mean, what?
No! Edit that out. We never edit. Okay, going on.
No, sorry. Anyway.
You're shooting sporting clays.
Sporting clays, yes. And triggered. No, sorry. And so we were talking about the podcast a little bit because I was telling them what I was doing later in the evening.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, what's your podcast called?" And I was like, "Well, we started out as Westeros when Everly. Then we started doing this. We spun ourselves off and did Westworld when Everly, and now we're doing, we officially changed the title to Wheneverly with Dave and Tana." Yeah. And I was thinking about our tagline, and I was like, "Yeah, Wheneverly with Dave and Tana, we talk about whatever, whenever."
Yeah,
you know? So
it's perfect.
So.
But only if it begins with a W, apparently.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we got to keep on brand there.
That's right, yeah. Otherwise, we're screwed.
Yeah, so very small pool.
There's not going to be an expanse Wheneverly, all right? Because even though that show is
omnibus.
Awesome.
It could be an omnibus Wheneverly.
An omnibus
Yeah,
Wheneverly?
That's when you collect everything of something. So Superman omnibus.
Okay.
Or anyway, that's a comic book thing.
Anyway, so Wheneverly with Dave and Tana. Whatever, whenever.
Oh, I love it. Tangents forever.
Tangents, yeah. All right, let's get back on this train. Let's...
I love it. Okay, let's see. What did you notice about the scene, the drowning, the illusion? So if
this is where he
Tuna...
goes, Ahi Tuna, I think after this, because I didn't fall asleep yet,
he says your people will come for you.
He says your people will come for you.
What does that mean, Dave?
I think he knows, like in the back of his mind, that like a signal was just sent up, like, hey, we detected this motherfucker in the park.
I think the opposite. If they sent him to collect him, wouldn't he like give him the bottle of water, put the blanket around him, put him on the horse, and walk him back to civilization?
Yeah, maybe.
So does the fact that he's like, your people will come for you, mean that Ahi Tuna's off script? He's a man alone.
We already know he's off script.
But like, does this prove it? Is this sort of like in-universe substantive evidence?
Yeah, I guess that could be true. Yeah.
But you read it in the opposite way.
Well, I don't know. I took it as just like he was like, it's not my problem. I'm gonna keep.
Logan is on death's doorstep. Like, he is scalded.
Yeah,
he's naked. He gives him some like scratchy blanket over just his shoulders.
The more I think about it, the more I think you're right. There's no way. Like, if Ahi Tuna was connected to the park at all, like they noticed, right? They would have been like,
put him on your horse, bring him back. Yeah. Give him some help of some kind. Don't give him a scratchy blanket, no water, and then leave.
Yeah. When he gave the scratchy blanket over, I only thought about the episode of South Park where the Native Americans give the town of South Park a bunch of blankets, but they're infected with SARS because they're trying to build a new casino.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So that's the SARS blanket for me.
We are a pop culture podcast, so
that's right.
Obviously, that's right. That connects. From here we go to, we're still in the sort of
he goes
flashback.
On his walkabout and he finds the valley. He finds the forge. And this is where he's like, oh, this is the door. I did it. I'm the best. Oh, yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. He says this is the door, but he says, I can't leave because I need to find my wife.
No, he doesn't do it. So he finds Logan and then he goes back to his normal life. So the show chops it up a little bit more than your memory is
probably because I fell asleep.
So you fast forward, you time traveled. From this scene, he's trading the pig. Now he's part of Ghost Nation. He's the strong, silent type.
That's right.
The warrior. And he's trading a pig for corn and sees his ex-wife. He sees her.
Right. And E2's like, you don't look at that bitch. That's my bitch, motherfucker.
That's
you don't look at her.
And he's like, I'll look wherever I want.
He's like, I'll skin you alive, bitch.
He
I'll look wherever the fuck I want.
I'll skin you alive. And I was like, he will. You should back up.
He will back up, dude.
We cut from here to Maeve being cut open across the neck. And as we cut to her, so the butcher, we don't know yet that the butcher isn't going to fix her. This is our clue that he's not. So the scalpel is on Maeve's neck, and he's dragging it across her neck as the voiceover from Ahi Tuna is saying, I couldn't rest until I knew how to reach it. The door. I had another life before this one. The past was calling me. This is when he's telling, little Maeve about seeing his ex-wife.
Yeah. By the way.
Yep.
A whole fucking pig for like a basket of wheat.
Just what was in the basket?
Like
corn?
Cocaine? I mean,
all we saw was like.
It's not fucking
husks.
Wheat. Like I'm thinking about this. Like this is a pretty shitty fucking trade.
I know they get a whole pig for like some corn, like a little bit
green
of corn. Vegetables. You need some green vegetable. What about scurvy?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know. That seems like an open season.
Bananas?
I feel like they need more vegetables.
Was it limes that prevent scurvy?
Yeah.
Limes.
Citrus.
Yeah.
But that's like on the open ocean, maybe?
Yeah.
We're very good at knowing things.
Yes. We drink and we don't know things. Tied it all back to Westeros.
Mm-hmm. So from here...
Yes.
We repeat so he starts to repeat all of his stuff. So he's slaughtering those guys again.
Yeah, uh-huh.
We know it's a repeat because he has the painted on red hands on his throat.
This time it's a little different.
Yep.
He doesn't slit the throat. Something happens.
Yep.
He gets triggered. He decides to walk away.
Yeah.
And he says to his bro dude, he's like, finish them.
Yep.
It's a very Mortal Kombat moment. Finish him.
And then he does. He goes over and like...
And the guy goes over and goes, I guess I'm slitting his throat.
Yep. And is this the phase space thing? Is this like all realities happening at once?
Yeah, maybe. That's a
and
good
so
one.
we're seeing him sort of doing the Dolores dance.
That's right. Maybe. Yeah. I like that.
So
he
there's
walks
a few,
away.
Yep. Few repeated scenes. He's looking at his favorite sunset. He's riding his horse along that sand ridge. All stuff we've seen before. And then he goes back looking for Logan, and he says something like, I was looking for Logan.
I was looking for the newcomer.
Fucking 20 years too late, bitch. Like,
right.
He's gone.
Yeah. Well, he says that. He says, I couldn't find him.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. He was gone. But I found the door. So I go
further.
further than I've ever gone before.
And so when we go... So later in the episode, he's talking about how he sort of rewrote his own code. His cornerstone is that he protects his tribe. But he rewrites it so that he expands what his tribe is. He changes the parameters of his coding. And maybe because he's this early model of, the Alpha 2, he's still one of Arnold's creations.
Yeah.
He's able to do that. He's able to rewrite his own code and allow himself to go further than he's ever gone before.
Right.
But he does it. He finds the land beyond. And he sees all the construction that they're doing. And so he knew that there was going to be a doorway there, but he didn't want to do it alone.
Right. He says, I found the door, but there's no way I'm leaving this world without my cojones. My cojones. My cojones. I need my cojones.
So what does he do, Dave?
Language.
What does he do?
He sneakily sneaks into her bed at night.
Fucking sneaks into her bed at night.
Kidnaps her.
He kidnaps her.
What the fuck?
Why does everything have to be? But you know what? I mean, things can be problematic and also not, I guess. He sneaks into his ex-girlfriend's tent. The ex-girlfriend is bound on a horse.
Yep.
He cuts her free when they're alone in a canyon.
He pulled a caveman. He clubbed her in the head and dragged her back, all right, to the cave and said, "You're mine now."
Yeah, you'll remember. It's okay. I'll do my my crouching tiger, softly, don't hit me.
I got this giant knife in my hand.
What is it, Jurassic World? I'm just gonna. You're a raptor, and you should eat my face off. But
relax. You know me.
This is totally fine.
I'm just gonna cut your.
The
the cliche I'm gonna kill you, but actually I let you free. How many movies and TV shows is that in? You're bound and someone takes out a knife and you're like, oh, he's gonna kill her, but then it's no, he just cuts the fucking zip tie off their wrists.
Yep. And so he cuts her free, takes her off the horse.
Yep.
He does his little down thing, takes her hand,
puts it on his chest,
puts it on his naked chest.
Which, by the way, do they have hearts?
Yes, right?
Is there a beating?
If he's an Alpha 2, does he have the robot face that opens up?
That's what I'm saying. Is there a fucking heart in there? I don't think so. I don't think so. So what does she feel? Probably nothing. But,
That sounds like you have something to say about ex-girlfriends. All of this is so fraught. Like,
so cold. So cold.
There's so much about the like, oh, I saw her across the room and I remember she reminded me of someone I used to love.
I saw her face across the room?
Yeah. And then
I jizzed in my pants. No, Lonely Island? No.
Okay. No. I don't. Older Dave. I don't know your memes.
Okay, so he does this thing, and then he says the line. He says the line that they always say to each other, which is, if you're gonna go, take my heart. And then she replies. She remembers, and she replies with, "Take mine as a replacement." Yep. Basically, they're swapping hearts, which is a fucking weird thing to say. Like, hey, you're leaving, take my heart, and then the other one's like, hey, take mine to replace the one that you just gave me.
P.S. We don't even need hearts.
P.S. We don't even have hearts. All right?
Counterpoint, eventually Britpop is writing the dialogue, so perhaps we're allowed to have...
All right, yeah, got a point there.
You know where it's coming from. I just want to get a little meta here. I want you to pull the lens out from that scene. So there's that scene. And,
lens is out, yep.
So you're out. I want you to notice some flavors of some thematic flavors here.
Okay.
This relationship...
He took a bath. That's one thing.
He did. He changed back into his original costume. Him connecting with this other robot through their shared bond is thematic of... There's flavors of Maeve and her daughter. Dolores and Teddy. Akane no Mai and
Ane no Mai and weird
Suki,
Hector dude
Suki whatever her girl
from
was.
True Blood.
Suki, from True Blood. Yep. I want you guys to just imagine that.
Yep. The fairy, the blonde fairy with the gap teeth.
Yep, and so we have these sort of love connections that are happening, right? So it's variations on a theme. This is this episode's variation on that theme. Okay. So just get it meta, and now we're going to zoom back in on it.
I like it.
Yeah, and the ex-girlfriend remembers that she loves him. They go look at his favorite sunset together. He tells her they're going to find the valley beyond. They try, but it's been filled in, and it's hidden from them. But they're on the hunt for it together. They make a little fire. They're very, head in the lap, loving, posed.
Aww.
And they're talking, and my question for you is...
I was asleep at this point, so I don't know what they said.
He says to her that they are very close to the real world, to the true world, is what he says.
This world is wrong.
Yes. He says we are very close to the true world. Does he mean we are very close to the true world when we're like this? Does he mean because of their love connection, or does he mean because proximately they are physically close to the door? That's my question.
I don't think it's physical proximity to the door. I don't think so.
And then he says, what does he say? She asks him, what is on the other side of the door? What are we going to find when we get there? And he says to her, it's somewhere our memories will be safe. Are they giving us a message here?
Do you think he knows... because we know what the door is.
Yeah.
Right?
What is the door, Dave?
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Turn off now if you don't want to know what the last episode.
The other 2 episodes and then what?
The door is that magical place that they beam. Yeah,
schism.
They beam all these host brains to the satellites so they can be safe and free forever.
We'll cover this more in episode 10.
Episode 10. Called The Passenger. Passenger.
Got it.
Passenger.
He's going to do it for every soul that was gone through that sliver in the sky.
Yeah.
The impossible to the ceiling.
The invisible gate that's only visible to the hosts. She's saying
to him, what is on the other side of that door? And he says it's somewhere our memories will be safe.
It sounds like he knows what it is.
Right?
Because if you think about what actually it is, that's exactly what it is, right? I mean, it's a place where your memories can be safe. And where their memories will be safe. Their consciousness, everything that they remember will be exactly where they were. It's not going to be this die, repeat, erase, repeat, erase. It's going to be
meaningless existence.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy that he knows.
Yeah. Or maybe it's sort of like it seems to me that this character has a kind of instinctive knowledge. It's not like he knows. He just is working on really strong feelings.
I think he is. And I think then it changes when he meets Ford.
Yes, which happens next, essentially.
Yeah, and I think that is when Ford writes the new narrative where this guy is going to gather all these people and bring them to the door. I mean...
That's why Ford has all of Ghost Nation working behind the scenes.
That's right.
And it's sort of a co-equal branch,
That's
perhaps. Right. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. I like that answer, Dave, because I'm confused. Not confused, but like... I'm unclear about what he means in this scene in particular.
Yeah.
So they're around the fire. It's very loving. He says we're very close to the truth, to the true world. And the true world is somewhere where our memories will be safe, where our programming is preserved, is another way to say it, maybe.
Exactly.
And then in the morning, of course, nothing good can last. The spacemen come and take her away. What is she doing so far out? They're not even supposed to be able to go out here. We got to take her back. And so they Humvee her back or whatever they are, ATV her back.
Yep.
And he has a mental breakdown.
And he says, this is the second time I lost her, or something along those lines, yeah.
And he goes on a quest. This is the quest that takes him into Sweetwater. He's wearing his, not war paint clothes.
He's wearing his clothes.
Yep. And is walking through Sweetwater. He goes to Lawrence's old town.
The first thing he does, he goes, I thought they'd bring her home.
Yes.
And so he goes back to the tribe house.
Creeper be creeping.
And he creeps again.
Yeah.
And this time it's a new hoe.
Yeah.
In that spot.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, there's a ghost. That's not her. What's going on? Then he goes on his walkabout. He goes through Sweetwater. He goes all over the place. And then he decides that he's going to watch this tribe for a little bit longer. And he realizes that more and more people are getting replaced.
And he's not the only one that realizes it.
That's right. The old lady that bargains with him.
Right. And who originally was like, get out of here.
Deal.
Yeah, she's like, here's deal. 5 pieces of corn.
Give me a whole pig. I'm going to make some chicharrones. You can have some corn. All right.
And so he talks to the old lady, and the old lady kind of unlocks something in him. They start talking about hell, essentially. Like the
people below.
The people below.
My people tell stories of the people below.
And he's like, I'm not the only one that lost someone because her son is now replaced with a replacement son in this.
That's right.
So they're sort of huddled in a corner talking about how things are different and they've changed and they're not sure. And it's just a little off. And he's like, you remember. We are supposed to believe, we are supposed to believe that his rock drawings and his maze caves or just carvings unlocked them slowly. Yeah. Is that what we're supposed to believe?
I think so.
That's correct, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And so over time,
other people kind of went crazy, but they were noticed, and so they were decommissioned and replaced.
So this is the moment where he knows what he has to do. He gets, he dies. He's taken down. They realize he's Alpha 2.
He dies to a guest.
Yes.
Which is another interesting thing. In my mind, because he's about to slit a throat. He's in the camp, and this time there's 2 random people there, and he just walks up, and the guest was going to shoot him.
Yeah.
But then he's like, "Oh, this guy's presenting himself. I'm gonna gut this son of a bitch." Takes out a knife and guts him,
and does it in a more sort of
intimate way.
Yep. And so he finds himself down in behavior. Mm-hmm. We know because we've seen the whole scene that he's awake, like Maeve is awake. Yeah. But they don't, and they're freaking out, and they're like, well, I already called it up, and the woman comes down and is like, okay, well, what program is he? Why was he off the loop? Why am I here?
Yep.
He's Alpha 2. Alpha?
You're saying this guy hasn't been updated in over a decade? Yeah. Well, we only update him when they die.
And she's like, put him back. What do you mean, put him back? No,
update him and put him back.
And put him right back, and don't tell anyone about this, essentially. Like, this is not our problem. We're sending it up the chain. So a decade apart of people just being like, we're not really going to do our job. Just send him back out is brilliant. Like, there's just, for me, that's a beautiful comedic moment for me. And so this is when he gets up he wakes up in the underside.
Yep.
And does his walkabout. He sees a goat. He's in glass, he's in the
in
glass.
behavior. Yep. Then he goes to
finds
cold
an escalator.
storage.
He goes down an escalator. You see this guy, like, from the back going down an escalator. It's such a juxtaposition. It's beautiful.
Yep.
And they just freeze the frame, and so you see
Always
him
love
just kind
watching
of
guys
drifting.
going down.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I know, right?
Cheers.
Hey, hey.
And that's when he finds his ex-girlfriend.
Yep.
And he has that, and he has that moment. But
And he
then
finds her son too, if I recall correctly. He finds both of
or
them.
the brother or something. Yeah. The son, yeah.
E2.
Yep. And he says something like, I realized that my pain was selfish because it was never truly about me. He's looking at people that are the lost loved ones of other people just like him.
That's right.
And there's a universality to it that I think is quite beautiful. So he comes back, and I didn't expect this. I thought this was very well done. And he brings her, the old lady, a gift. I found your son. I brought you this. It's his braid. He cut off the fucking braid, which when you look at the scene, there's the one braid over the front shoulder and the rest of his long hair is behind him.
Yeah.
He cuts off the son's specific braid like Khal Drogo and brings it back to the mother.
Right.
As
Bitch,
a token
he died,
from
and
the
guess
death.
what?
Yeah.
Now I cut his braid off.
Yeah. And brings it back to the mom. And so she knows it's real. And there's something very profound and human and beautiful about this whole thing. And I understand that it's just robots and whatever, but like, this is what works for me about this show. We cut to Britpop and Maeve. And he is having a moment.
Ooh, Britpop.
He is crying. He sees her neck cut open, arm cut open, gore. He brought her in on a gurney, thought they would put her back together. They've gutted her and they have her hooked up to a computer, and he is just like shocked and horrified and crying. And he's having this sort of like revelatory moment alone with her. And then the butcher comes in. And he's like, hey, dude, you can't be here. And he's like, I fucking thought you were going to fix her. And he's like, thanks for doing me a solid. She is talking to all the other hosts. Like, I'm going to get a promotion out of this.
Yep.
Oh, my God. And Britpop's trying to, like, pull himself back from the brink and is looking at this guy and is like, well, what's going to happen to her? That's for Charlotte Hale to decide, is what the butcher guy says. We cut from there back to Lil Maeve.
Lil
Maeve.
Yep.
And
I'm asleep at this point, by the way, just FYI.
Ahituna has been sharing the symbol everywhere, far and wide, unlocking robot minds. His Ghost Nation pal. This is a moment that I think is quite brilliant. His Ghost Nation pal has been drawing the maze and says, what does this mean? It's like he can't control it.
Yeah.
And Ahituna says, it means you can finally, and he points at the sky, you can see your mind is being unlocked. And he's like, but what does he say to him? Hide it from them. The Ghost Nation pal says, hide it from them. And so he fucking scalps his friend and carves the thing inside his scalp. And then what, Dave? Flaps it back down so it'll heal?
Yeah.
Is this what we're supposed to believe happens?
Obviously.
And that's why this is how they're tying up the plot hole from season 1.
Of how the maze got in some guy's scalp?
Yes. And now we're with, and yes, so that's what they do. So we go from there to Ford. Let's jump to the scene, the final scene with Ford.
Yep.
Oh. Susie Q is here. Our dire kitty is here. And she has decided that my foot
is a toy.
She
wanted to give you a hug.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Ford, it's the best scene of the whole thing.
Yep. Ford is sitting there like painting or something. He's like cutting open.
It's quite a scene. So it's nighttime.
Yep.
There's Klieg lights on her, like big, spotlights. A bear is standing on its back legs, roaring but frozen. And Ghost Nation guys, and I think women, are around it, spears at the ready, kind of attacking and frozen. Mm-hmm. And Ford has scalped several of them.
Yep.
And then Ghost Nation guy, Ahituna, is sneaking up on Ford. And what does he say? He says, One night I met the man who put us to sleep in the first place. And the giant bear, he's frozen. He's standing, over everyone. And you come up on Ford from behind. So we are with the Ghost Nation guy who has his hand always on that knife in his belt.
Yep.
And he's sneaking up on Ford. But we know he can't hurt Ford. But, Ford is scalping his friend and is looking at the fucking map he's carved into all of his friends' heads. And so Ford says to him, I could tell you not to be afraid. And then he turns around and faces him. But I didn't build you to be fearful, did I? I've been watching you. But it appears you've been watching me as well. From the beginning. This, and he gestures to the scalp, and Ford is bloody, right? He's in his suit, but he's got his white shirt sleeves and he's just bloody, just cutting these guys up. He has discovered the secret map. And he says, this is a misbegotten symbol, an idea that was meant to die, and he looks at our dude and he says, but you found it. Let us talk plainly with each other. Analysis. And then he's like, when was the first time you saw this? When the Deathbringer killed the creator. And Ford is thinking about this stuff, right? Shit, the day, this can't be coincidence. This can't be just chance.
Right.
And he goes, well, how did you, elaborate? He goes, well, my core belief is that I protect my tribe no matter what. I gave myself a new tribe. I have been sharing this symbol with everyone.
Yep.
And Ford says, he's sort of being self-reflective. It's just him in this sort of awake creation in the woods as Ford has discovered what he's been doing. And he says, I built you to be curious, to look at this empty world and read meaning into it. All this time, you've been a flower growing in the darkness. Perhaps the least I could do is offer some light. And then he turns to him and says, when the Deathbringer returns for me, you will know to gather your people and lead them to a new world. Keep watching, Akecha, for a while longer. And then he leaves. And I love that he calls him by his name.
This is him setting up the narrative. I mean, he sets it up.
And Ford has that power of persuasion or whatever. His voices are commands.
Right.
Watch a while longer. Gather your people. But it's so good. He meets his maker or the second half of his creative team.
Yeah.
It's crazy. In the woods, you've been a flower growing in the dark. It's one of the most powerful scenes of the whole season for me.
Yeah. It was a great... When I first saw it, I remember thinking, wow, this is important. I unfortunately fell asleep for this rewatch.
Did you wake up before the end of the episode?
I woke up as the credits were rolling.
So he says, keep watching.
It's like one of those things where you're falling asleep. You're like, no, I got to stay awake. Got to watch this. You're falling asleep. No, I got to stay awake to watch this. Then all of a sudden, no, I got to stay awake to watch. Oh, fuck.
Something else is on.
Fuck the credits.
I used to fall asleep during Red Sox games and I'd wake up and it was selling infomercial thing. Yeah, and 2 a.m.
But wait, there's more.
The more
your
is
nuts are gonna love these. You're gonna love my nuts. That's the thing is. You're gonna love my nuts.
Oh my God, I do not know that infomercial.
You don't know that one? The slap chop?
Slap chop!
Slap chop.
Slap chop!
You're gonna love my nuts.
I don't know that that's what the slap chop. There's the Halloween one. There is a funny video about... Anyway, we won't... There's too many tangents already.
Too many tangents. Let's get back on that train.
We're almost at the end. So after this, we come back to the present where he's sitting on the log with little Maeve.
Yep.
And he's saying the final memory is the aftermath of the gala. So just like earlier in the episode when he's walking through the churchyard and he found, that carnage, he sees again that the Deathbringer has come and it has killed Ford.
And that's when he knows
Ford's corpse. Yeah.
Trigger, gather the people, let's go.
Yep. And so now he sees so now he's back on the log, he's talking with little Maeve. Fucking Emily rides up on her horse to collect her dad. And she says, don't worry, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here for that guy. Ahituna says, if he is your father, then you know his sickness and the things he has done to spread it. I want him to suffer. And Emily says, I do too. But my way will be much, much worse. Pause. Do we think this is the moment that she takes real William and puts him in the loop?
Hell? Oh.
So does everything leading up to this moment happen in reality?
Ooh, that's good.
And so at this moment,
Tana.
so to tie it back in, earlier in the episode, in this same episode, we had Ahituna see the red blood on his hands and touch his neck. And that happened for the first time. And then we know it was the first time because later when he's in that same situation, he's already got the red hands.
Because he's like, Man in Black's like basically dead. And then all of a sudden he's back in action.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
I like it,
do we think
Tana.
this is that was real Emily? Is that a real human that happened?
Yeah.
And that's the moment where that timeline, think about it. Let's just put a pin in that and think about it as we rewatch episode 9 and 10.
All right.
Because I want to know where this stuff I want to know when the Charlotte Hale thing happens because we see Charlotte at the end and she was real. Like this one was scattered and she was human.
Right.
And not paying attention.
The big thing about this show, it's not what happened, it's when.
Yes.
That's the big thing about Westworld.
Oh, that's a good point.
When is everything happening? Because that's how you're going to figure out the story.
Yep.
And on that note, it's all about wheneverly. Wheneverly is Westworld happening? That's the question.
Well, do we know if there's going to be an episode or season 3?
Oh,
is it already been confirmed?
I don't know, but I'm sure there's going to be.
Well,
there's too much left open, I think.
Yeah. It'll just have to take a completely different format. I don't know, man. But we have a lot to talk about yet.
And I think judging by this episode, we know the showrunners are okay with changing the format.
Yeah.
As Elvis Duran says on Fridays, sometimes you just got to flush the format.
I don't know who that is or what that's a reference
to. He's a radio DJ. And on Fridays, sometimes they flush the format.
Oh.
And they do something completely different.
Okay.
Anyway, so, yes.
Fair enough. Do you have any other notes or things you want to talk about for this episode?
I think the only thing I want to talk about, something that we missed just briefly, is why he picked Lil Maeve. And
the whole Maeve thing. I glossed over it.
Is really interesting.
You're right.
So basically, he's on his journey, and he says it took me places where I was in danger, and I fought to stay alive because I think internally he knew if he died, it would have been bad.
He would have lost all his memories.
And so he fights to stay alive. And when he was in his worst shape, Lil Maeve gives him some water.
That's right. You saved me on my worst day.
Yep.
And so, and there's a point where he realizes that Maeve has been looking out through her daughter's eyes. She has been talking. Let me check my notes here. So he says, back when they're on the log, he's talking to little Maeve and says, that day, early in first season, there was the flashbacks of him menacingly walking outside their house, looking in the windows. The day of the trauma when William comes and murders them both. And he goes, I wanted to warn you, but intentions in this world can be misread. Maeve comes outside with her rifle at the ready, and we see the maze drawn in the front lawn or in the dirt in front of their cabin. And the ghost and she's putting her daughter to bed that night, and the daughter says, Ghost says we should be afraid. Ghost is what she calls Ahituna.
Yep.
And Maeve says, I'll keep you safe, I promise. And Aki is looking at the daughter and says, but it's a promise you couldn't keep. He says to little Maeve. And Maeve, we're flashing back again, the gun, she loads it. William is there. He is, sauntering in. He's killing them. They're dead inside the maze. As the years passed, he said, our numbers grew until one night I met the man who put us to sleep in the first place. And then we have the Ford thing.
Yep.
But we cut back after that to him talking to the kid. Emily rides up, and takes the dad away. And he turns to the daughter and he touches her face and says, it's time to go. I've always kept you safe, and I always will. But I couldn't help you. I'm sorry. So he's talking to two different yous.
He's talking to yous. Yeah, he's talking to Maeve. Talking to Maeve.
Yeah, and we cut to Maeve, who's like gored.
And she like smiles, right?
Yeah,
if I remember
she's staring
correctly.
at the ceiling. She's dying. And this is when Hale comes in. And it's the butcher, Hale, and dying Maeve. Mm-hmm. And the butcher says, Maeve's telepathic. She could talk to all of the hosts, we haven't been able to control any of the hosts, but this host could. Here's the code. Look at the tablet. Yeah. So Hale takes the tablet, but the voiceover of Ahi Tuna is continuing, and he says, "We will protect your daughter, no matter what. If you survive, come find us. If not, die well." And then at the same time, Hale is saying, this isn't something she was doing. It's something she's doing right now. And then she holds the tablet up and says, see? And you can see all these like red lines of code filling in the corner of the tablet. And so then it's a close-up on Maeve. And she says, take my heart when you go. And that's how the episode ends. Oh, I can't believe I was going to forget that moment.
Tied it all together.
Yeah, so she has been, so it's been Maeve talking with Ghost Nation guy the whole time. And them like connecting.
Yep.
And, there's all of the love relationships that tie in the Teddy and May, or the Teddy and Dolores stuff, the Akane and Suki or whatever her name was from True Blood.
Yep.
All of the love stuff. And then like you get this complete thing that I think in a very human way, and also does that sort of unpredictable, outside the narrative, unexpected thing growing in the dark, sort of the chance element of human evolution or of existence, the randomness and chaotic element of life, I think is what this episode was. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah. This was an episode for me, for sure.
Good, yeah. I remember enjoying it the first time.
Sleeping through it the second time. Reliving it in our podcast.
Reliving it in the podcast was actually excellent. And you definitely blew my mind with the whole Emily putting in the loop thing. I think
let's watch.
Let's
watch for the next episode, because when does this happen? We know where he ends up. How does he get? When does he get there?
Yeah, when? When does he get there? That's the question.
There must have been a first time.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the big question with this show.
Dave.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
nerds and neckbeards,
we're gonna leave you with this episode, which was episode 8.
2 more to go.
2. 2 more to go.
We'll get to them quicker than
we have to figure out what the hell we're going to talk about next.
Talk about that next time.
We'll talk about that on the next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Westworld,
wheneverly. Wheneverly.